Hi, Paul here, bringing you episode 3, season 1 of the podcast. In Luke's absence, we've decided to bring in a guest speaker, and that is Nick and Clayton. Tell us a bit about yourself. Can you tell us a bit about yourself in relation of a geek and gamer?
Favorite comic? It's probably Walking Dead. Civil War. Those kind of things. I'm like a Marvel person. And favorite movie? Iron Man.
Awesome, thank you very much, and everybody, that's Nikki. So, one of the first topics that we're looking to discuss this week, the announcement of Halo 5's artwork, and I would like to pass you over to Grady.
Right, so basically they've revealed some artwork for the game, one side with Master Chief and the other side with Locke, and then below them featured what looks like a small team of other Spartans, perhaps Spartan 4s, perhaps something different. I don't know if there's been any official information released on that. And it kind of reinforces the Master Chief versus Locke theme that they've continued on. And beyond that, I don't know what the conspiracy theories are, but it's interesting.
Have you seen the new update to Huntthetruth? On, I think it was yesterday, there was a new upload?
The one, I listened to the most recent episode, and then I did see they've got his, like, penalty featured from his airplane ride or what, airship.
Yeah, for him apparently doing something naughty on the plane.
Yeah, refusing to sit down and shut up.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good episode.
Any points on what you could get from that?
No, not really. I think it's continuing along basically what I'd assumed before. But I think the story's about to ramp up. I think Jiro's decisions are about to change his life. I think I don't know. But I'm enjoying it. I'm liking it. Yeah, Dan.
Do you know the big structure in the back of the cover art?
The big structure in the back. I didn't look at it that close. What was on there?
I think it's like a big, the big robotic thing that was in the original launch trailer for Halo 5.
Yes.
It looks like a Promethean.
I think it's Mendicant Bias.
I don't know. Why would you say it's Mendicant Bias?
Well, because Mendicant Bias is buried on the Ark, and that place where he was in the original trailer looks an awful lot like the Ark, so I'm just speculating.
It could be. That'd be an interesting theory. I think Mendicant Bias was actually assisting, according to the hidden towers or terminals in Halo 3. So I don't know if it makes sense for him to be in the position of a villain or not.
Well, he was infected by the Flood, wasn't he, remember?
I don't know if he was infected so much as swayed by the Gravemind's opinion.
Yeah.
I think the box art looks pretty.
Oh boy.
It's like a nice shade of blue. That's a joke, but no, I think it looks cool, the box art. But thing is, like, the question is, are you gonna play as Locke or Master Chief?
Master Chief.
Well, everybody's saying are they going to be playing as one or the other, but who's to say that we're actually going to have that choice? It might be a case of you, like with Halo 2, you start off with the Chief, then you change to the Arbiter and go through that way. So it could be something similar.
Yeah, but let's just say if it was a choice.
Yeah.
I'd probably go with Chief.
I'd be really surprised if it was a straight choice.
Yeah. I'm saying like if it was, like, hypothetically, if it was,
then I would think the majority of people would prefer to play as Master Chief. But I also wonder if the whole Versus is actually going to carry very far into the story.
Co-op, you can have 4 people playing as Master Chief.
No, I mean, like, it would be interesting because one person could play as Locke, one person could play as Chief.
Yeah, but that's sucked on Star Trek.
That's what you do just now in the Master Chief collection. One person's Master Chief, one person's the Arbiter, one person's another random...
That's from Halo 2 onwards.
Yeah.
Oh, no, what I mean is one person would take one side of the story and the other would take the other. It would form like
like you're going to eventually hunt each other, and then what happens is when you do eventually meet, it goes into a multiplayer battle.
Yeah.
And then whoever decides the outcome of that, you then continue down the story after that point.
I think it'd be interesting.
That could
Yeah,
be
but if
interesting.
Master Chief dies,
I
then
think it's
what's
the
Halo
worst
6
idea I've
going
ever
to
heard.
be?
Concur. Speculation.
Yeah.
So with that, there was also a video link that came out. It was a really odd link for sort of description. Xbox Live 2015 games, and there was a lot of sort of different symbols throughout the description, so it was a hard sort of link to actually find. This was also posted up by GamesRadar.com.
I watched it.
And there was two glitches within the video. Glitch at about 9 seconds into the video brought up some binary code. When you took that binary code and put it into a converter, it said hunt the signal. Yeah, so similar to the theme that's been going on with the huntthetruth.tumblr. Tried a couple of variations online, and all I was getting was format incorrect. Put that into my mobile, and it came up with a counter which seems to be counting down to 2 p.m. UK time on Wednesday.
Check back then.
Yeah, so we'll probably have an update after that. It's apparently something to do with competition. It's working in teams of 4. There's supposed to be geographical locations within the UK and US, and the team of 4 who crack the code first are essentially looking at getting their faces on in Halo 5.
Oh.
Who would want
pretty
your
cool.
face on Halo 5? This is why we do a podcast, because we haven't
Yes.
got a face for TV.
This is true. Hey, we could
Take
do it as a
Master
vid-
Chief's helmet off and it's Grady.
Secret's been exposed.
Oh no.
Is that why you get someone else to do your voice then? Eh?
No, it's like
All the time. This is what pretend to speak.
Well, it's like he's got like Arrow's got a voice changer in his helmet. Take it off and there you go.
I think that would be kind of a letdown for a lot of people. Getting
It's just a little kid in the Spartan suit.
well, it's not Dan.
Oh no.
Oh, low blow.
I'm the guy pulling the strings.
Master Chief is really a woman.
Oh Jesus.
That would be ridiculous. A woman would never be able to save the galaxy. That's just dumb.
Oh.
Pretty controversial comments there.
Well, he's a conservative.
Steph
What do
is
you
not
expect?
outnumbered
I
with
don't
the
think
girl.
there's anything controversial about it. I think we all agree, right? It's common sense.
Commander Shepard did.
I don't agree with it. Commander
Oh, well, that was just to appease the
Shepard's
masses to
bad.
make sales on an already poor game.
Them Shepard's
you
better than
dare.
Mel Shepard.
Hey, I know that Lara Croft didn't save the world, but she did a pretty good job of finding relics and stuff. So you know.
Yeah, you
I'm being
sexist
hot.
bastard.
Oh, she did it.
At this rate, you're going to say that Lightning was a good character as well in Final
Ugh.
Fantasy. Hi guys, second topic. Dan, can you kick it off?
Alright, guys. So you might have heard earlier in the week that Rocksteady Games announced that their DLC plans for Batman and Arkham Knight, and in my opinion, it's outrageous. $40 for basically a set of DLC, and it's basically paying nearly 2/3 of the actual price of the proper game. Now, I'm going to ask Paul what he thinks about it.
See, initially when I seen that, I was kind of like, really, what you're doing? It's like you're almost paying the same amount of the game as Yarding is similar with, and I know people are going to hate me for this, but I'm going to refer back to Destiny. Destiny, you're paying £35 to £40 for expansion packs, which is just DLC. You're paying a pretty much a full game price to not get a full game.
Didn't PlayStation players also get only half of what Xbox players got?
No,
they got
It's
more.
the other way
Oh,
around.
they got more. It was the other way around, right? Okay.
Yeah. But
Um,
with Destiny, just to add on, with the collector's edition, you paid, I think, you got £30 extra for the collector's edition, and it came with a season pass.
So you're then
Yeah.
talking you're saving £5 to £10 because if you buy them in two separate packs, it was a total of £40. If you buy them as the completed pack, it was £35. So overall, there's only been a £5 difference, but you're probably getting a few extra benefits from buying the collector's edition. Am I correct?
Yeah, you got a shiny ship, It was like the best ship in the game. A red ghost, and what actually did come with my case, and then some other crap.
So we
Pretty
attract all
much
the magpie
pointless stuff.
gamers with this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing was, there was also furthermore details on Batman Arkham Knight, where they have turned around and said that for 6 months, you will get new missions, new content, suits, and things like that. So it's rather than just maybe getting 1 or 2 additional things for it, you're going to get something new every month for 6 months, apparently.
Well, Warner Brothers Montreal said the exact same thing last year about Arkham Origins, and we literally got 1 story content and a bunch of challenge maps. Wasn't worth it in the end.
What amazes me is that people are willing to pay for a Batman game at all, let alone another, $40.
Boo! Boo!
Yay, greedy!
Superman fanboy! Boo! Superman fanboy!
No, I don't know. DLC's become a ripoff, but the standard price of a video game hasn't gone up in a very long time either. So if they don't
It
make their
has.
money milking us,
It
they'll
has
have
up to
It's
70,
gone up.
70 quid up now.
No, it's not. It's 60 quid.
70 quid over here.
And it's been that way. $60 has been the standard for a long time in the United States.
We're pretty
But
much
$60
Yeah.
isn't the same as £60, and that's what we're
Yeah.
paying for a
We're
new
paying
game now,
£60
isn't it?
for a game.
How long have you been at £60?
Recently.
Since
That's
the
Cost me
recently.
Xbox
€70.
launch.
Euro.
No,
It used to
Xbox
be-
One it was 45 to 50.
Yeah, and now it's £60. No,
Yeah.
Xbox
Yeah.
One it's 60. Xbox 360 was like 45,
Yeah,
50
that's
on
about
release.
right.
Yeah.
Clearly,
I
I
might
get too many
get-
good
Case,
deals.
I would
I'm
like
with
to
the-
take a moment. I would like to take a moment to thank you all for paying more for your games so that I can continue paying the same amount for mine.
Well, it's because I always buy collector's edition on most games. I've noticed that they've gone up by quite a lot of money because I know Skyrim was 120, and now
What?
I'm paying like I bought like. It's
I got that for
shiny.
80. I got
got a
that for
dragon.
80.
Yeah, I bought
What
it
did
on
you get
launch
with
day.
this?
I got dragon. I can't say no to a
Alright.
dragon. And now you're paying like 150 plus.
See, they have taken sort of collector's editions to a whole new scale, and one of the biggest that hit out was this year, and it was Dying Light at £250,000
Oh, yeah.
or
Yeah, but that-
$333,000.
Yeah, that was just a one-off. Like they did that with another game as well. But it's like
Saints Row
with
4.
collectors. Yeah, that's not the same thing. Oh yeah, it was.
The Wub
It could be
Wub
mine.
edition.
No, the World Cup edition was actually quite cheap for a collector's edition.
I'm thinking of the $1 million one.
Oh, well, that was bloody expensive. But
Bloody expensive.
yeah, but no, what I was saying is with the collector's edition, you get normally most of the time you get the season passes included, so you get all the shiny stuff covered the game and the season pass. There's only one collector's edition, though a few what hasn't done that, and that was Skyrim and Dragon Age.
Mm.
But it's like for me, it's like with Destiny, it was like, well, if I'm gonna buy the DLC separately, but I do think DLC prices are getting ridiculous, especially for the hours of content you get. Like I bought all the DLC for Mass Effect, and some of them were just skin packs, and I think it's getting ridiculous now, because when you're like, was it about 10 years ago, you used to get like an expansion, and now it's just, oh, here's one extra mission for like £10.
I
The
still
only way a
remember
lot
the
of
days
these
of
companies
big
can
box PC games with the additions in the box.
Scott, what were you saying there?
It's the only way a lot of these companies can actually make back money, though, because, yeah, despite the fact that he's complaining that it's like 50, 60 quid, it's in line with inflation. If you think back to how much a Mega Drive or a SNES game cost comparative to inflation at the time, game prices haven't gone up that much because they're not allowed to raise them that much. So this is the only way a lot of these companies can make back money and try and get profit. And to be honest, if there's mugs out there willing to pay 50, 60 quid for the DLC, then they're going to keep doing it.
I remember when they...
Sorry. I was going to say, but it might
Say that
discourage
was
people.
bad.
It might increase people pirating though, with the game prices going up. I know it's with inflation, but surely it's just going to encourage more pirating.
But then you have to modify the.
Well, the pirate on console.
Yeah.
It's
I would
basically
like
a pain in
was
the
basically
ass.
what I said, and I got shouted down. So I think maybe next time I'll try it with a Scottish accent and see if you guys accept it better.
You're really, really.
Scott's argument. I think And especially the part where he said it's your fault because you guys buy the DLC and that's why they did it.
Yeah,
It's
we're all
just
mug shoppers here.
microtransactions in general. You know what I mean? If people didn't do it, then they wouldn't use that route to make their money, and we'd just see standard increase in game costs. And
You can say the same thing about pre-ordering games as well.
I don't know about that. I've
What's
never
wrong with
pre-ordered something
pre-ordering?
that I didn't intend to buy already. So
Yeah.
I think Dan's trying to point out the fact that people add on. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
only get particular content if you pre-order, like Mortal Kombat 10.
I
You
hate
can only get Goro if you've pre-ordered it, but you would have to buy him as a separate character if you didn't.
Yeah, but it's called a pre-order bonus for a reason, and they want you to pre-order the game so you buy it.
I don't like it.
It's
No,
basically
mind it.
carrying a bit of the game that's meant to be in it off and selling it for extra.
I quite like it. It's like a reward. Oh, well done for pre-ordering our game.
I think we all disagree with Steph, and we should move forward.
Yeah, so
Alright.
calm down.
When you go.
Yeah, of course you do. You can talk about stuff too. No, I was just going to mention that I remember like season passes are not that much of an old thing, really. Because I remember being so confused when Assassin's Creed 3 and Mass Effect 3 came out and there's this season pass thing and what the hell is this season pass? I don't understand. And all of a sudden there's all these DLC things that are definitely going to come out but are future things that you don't have yet, and it's irritated me for a long time.
There was no season pass with Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, there was.
No, I
Wasn't there?
don't think. No, I don't think so.
There was
'Cause I
one
had
for
to.
No, I didn't
Mass
have
Effect
one.
2.
There was
for
Mass Effect 2 with the
Cerberus
that was
network.
Yeah, Cerberus network, and that was only certain DLCs. Other ones you had to pay for.
Mm.
It only covered a certain amount of DLCs. It wasn't like a proper season pass. It was
Skyrim
just,
had one.
Yeah.
No, did Skyrim have one?
no.
I thought it was just extra bits that you just bought.
Yeah.
So it was still DLC, but what they
Yeah,
included
but there
them
wasn't a
is-
season pass. It was
'Cause most
it was
of-
just
What I think most of the time now it's discount on downloadable
On the
content
DLC,
with the
yeah.
season pass.
So you save a bit of money, and generally you're saving £5.
Yeah, but because I know Call of Duty they use season passes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They actually. That was the funny thing. Like, Arkham Knight announced it was £33 for the season pass, but if you look at Call of Duty season passes, they're £35.
Yeah.
And you're getting skins for a gun, and maybe the occasional extra zombie mode.
is that it?
Yeah.
I've not
I wish
seen
they
any
just
additional
do
perks.
like a zombie season pass where you only get the zombie maps. You know, it would
Well,
make it easier.
Well, I just think like certain games they shouldn't have DLC. Like Call of Duty, it's already got a short game like single player wise, and then like the multiplayer, it's like, oh yeah, this is like the basics. You get a few maps and all that. Oh yeah, and here's a lot of DLC, but you have to
Yeah, it's
pay
like
for it
there's nothing to
separately.
the game at all. It's,
Yeah,
I mean,
and
look at the
I'm
Master
just
Chief
like,
Collection. We've got so much game content there that we can't possibly get bored.
yeah, but I was saying like with Call of Duty, I think people are idiots who buy the season passes for it because it's just encouraging them to carry on doing it. But there's certain
Yep.
games I'm like, like paying
Yeah.
for Dragon Age DLC, for example, you get so much more content. It's like more hours, like any BioWare DLC adds more story content and quite a few hours into it.
Here's a crazy example, and I mean crazy.
I'm holding
It's
on.
not really I think it's a PC game. It's not something I've come across, but when I was reading up on DLC stuff before the podcast, there's a game out there called Train Simulator.
Oh,
And effectively,
What?
you move around a train across various different routes. The game
those
itself,
games get on my nerves.
This sounds
the game
ideal for
itself
you,
is
Grady.
cheap. It's 20 quid if you want to buy the game on its own. If you were then to go and buy every single bit of DLC that accompanies this game, it comes to something like £2,000 just to
Bloody
get
hell.
various different routes
Jesus Christ.
that you can run. Every single one is about 20 quid, and there are something like 100 kind of way forward, and that's going to be where the investment goes. Might game companies be trying to make it so that you kind of have to create the game that you want to play?
Well, I hope not. I can't do that.
You can then download, or train routes that you can download. So yeah, £2,000 on top of your initial 20 quid purchase. What's the point?
Well, to me, that's a bit like Sims as well. Like you get expansions, add little bits to it.
But we're then not going into the realm of, and it's possibly been generated from this, but mobile games.
Oh,
Things
mobile
like-
games.
Here we
Oh,
go,
that
here we go.
pissed me off massively. I downloaded Justice God Among Us for my iPhone, and I wanted to get Green Arrow, and as in from the TV series, and it's like 100,000 coins.
Well, with it being free comic book day, Nikki, take it.
Right, so favourite graphic novel. I can't say them, man. Right, favourite graphic novels. There's so many to pick from. I have so many lying in the house, it's unbelievable. I'll probably pick Walking Dead, purely for the artwork, and I don't know, just the storyline in general. Oh,
Yeah, no,
I
that's
have
one for me.
ADHD sometimes, to be honest with you, the TV series.
Sorry, what were you saying, Grady?
I said that she said she got to a point where she was bored with it, and I said that was episode 1 for me.
How about Scott? Because I know you've recently bought some new graphic novels.
I wouldn't say any of the new ones would feature as my favourites, to be honest. I did enjoy Civil War thoroughly, but for me, probably either something like V for Vendetta or Mouse would kind of be up there along with my favourite ones.
What is Mouse?
I can only recommend reading it for you to get a flavour. Effectively, it takes on like the story of World War II from the perspective of mice living in Poland.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
That does.
Totally want that in my collection now.
It sounds a little bit perhaps silly the way I'm describing it, but it is a pretty phenomenal graphic novel, and the artwork that's contained within it, the story, it's quite impressive. So for me, probably Mouse.
Excellent. Dan, I know you said you haven't read many graphic novels, but even anything that you've done?
Well, from my limited reading, I do remember reading one called Batman: The Killing Joke, and I really enjoyed that one because it introduced the Joker and his origins. But I'd like to maybe get some recommendations on, good ones to read, maybe, and maybe for the audience as well. It might be good for them to get some recommendations.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a couple of mine, but Steph, how about you have a go first?
Alright, graphic novel wise, I absolutely love the Mass Effect graphic novels. No surprises. I
heavily in every point of your life.
I know. I love the Mass Effect graphic novels. They're really good artwork, and it's the filler between the stories. I've also, can we count manga in this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've also read manga. I was reading Bleach, and I was like a bit confused on how to read manga at first, but got used to it. I want to buy more, but it's like so expensive. I read the whole of Death Note as a manga, and then I've watched the anime.
All right. Grady, I know you've said that you don't actually read comic books, but any geek books that you could suggest, or gaming books?
I would say my most recent read was Ready Player One, which I got received in one of my loot crates, and I thought that was an excellent read. I recommend that highly.
You just
as
repeat
far as
that
geek
again.
books goes.
It went very crackly, just as you said the title.
Ready Player One. I read that.
Is that
It was
the Ernest Cline book?
It was featured in one of my loot crates, and I thought that was really a good read. Maybe the first half was interesting, and then it started to get slow and picked back up again. I think as a gamer or a person who appreciates the 80s and gaming origins, I think that would be hard not to enjoy. And then, of course, the Halo books. I enjoyed reading through those. But I don't have much time, and I've never been interested in comics specifically.
Excellent. Eleanor?
Well, I must say, I don't think I would have ever got into graphic novels had it not been for my favourite author sort of transferring a bit of her works into graphic novel form. So my favourite author is Laurel K. Hamilton, and she writes the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series of books, and she has transferred the first 3 of her novels into comic book form. Plus, she also had a prequel to the whole story of her series, if you will, and that was also in graphic novel form. And that, I just thought it was such a different way to look at the novels that I enjoyed so much. So that is what got me into graphic novels, I think. And then I can't say I really read that many of them, but The Walking Dead is definitely my favourite. I can't get enough of this. It's the only thing that I've managed to read, like novels, everything included, that has managed to stop me in my tracks and just I've had to close the book for a minute and just compose myself because I've just
Some scenes in that are amazing.
Yeah, and then I read it at work and people just watch my facial expression and think, what on earth is going on? There's another guy at work who reads them as well, and he's just like, what one are you reading? Oh, with a knowing sort of look, he'll go, oh no, right, I'll speak to you in a bit. And then it's like, oh my goodness.
On the Walking Dead note, just for everybody, if you've not seen it yet, the Walking Dead graphic novel collection number 23 has just been released. We bought it today at Forbidden Planet, and I will probably be reading and finishing it this evening.
Yeah. I'll be reading it after you.
Yes. I would say for myself, graphic novel wise, I've read several over the years. One of my favourites is Civil War, but in relation to what they're building up to in the it has to be completely different. The character references and things like that, because of company owning rights and things, can't match the two together. So it'll be interesting to see their take on that in the film. Another one which doesn't match the film, I've read these before the films came out, so I was slightly disappointed at the film, and it's Wolverine Origins. That is brilliant. The sort of first part of the films kind of matches to how the storyline goes, but the way that they develop Logan through his years growing up and things like that are really interesting. And one other one is it follows on after sort of civil wars taking place, and it's the Secret Invasion, where the Kree essentially come down and they change their bodies to look like members of the Avengers or just general public, and then take over and start a war. Also brings in a few other, if you have read the graphic novels and haven't read this one, they bring some people back anyway, which is always the good thing about comic books. You never seem to lose those characters.
They can always do something a bit random, that if someone has died, oh look, they're alive again.
Yeah,
because it's a whole different universe and technology, and they just explain it so well that you can cope mentally.
Yeah. A thing that I found out today, or I've seen it kind of advertised a few times,
that has managed to stop me in my tracks and just I've had to.
Zero was launched today, from as a free comic. Anything else to add within graphic novels?
Perhaps not to add in terms of the podcast. You can cut this out if you'd like, but I would like to know if any of you can differentiate between a graphic novel and a comic, because you're using the terms interchangeably, and it's not correct.
Comics are thin books, graphic novels are thick books.
That is what I would have said. Yeah.
Essentially, a comic would be and my opinion of it is essentially a chapter of the graphic novel.
Yeah.
Comics usually contain some degree of serialization. There's also a size difference, occasionally a paper quality difference, which is perhaps getting pedantic. But I think the big difference is normally the serialization versus standalone story.
Well, based on that, like for example, as I've said with sort of Secret Wars issue 0, that's then going to lead into several other issues, which they'll then go collective into the one graphic novel, and then
that's what they've done with The Walking Dead, though. Remember?
Yeah. The Walking Dead, when I'm saying
they get released in issues.
Number 23 of the graphic novel collection, it's because there's about sort of 6 of the comics that make up that one.
Cool.
Excellent.
I was just curious as to whether
we
did or not.
That will absolutely help people, and hopefully we've got the right aspect, or someone else can correct me on that.
The next topic is going to be, is the market getting flooded with comic books and superheroes? So, in other words, Arrow, Flash, Daredevil, Avengers film, blah blah blah. And I'm going to say no. You never have too many superheroes.
So is that just your standpoint? No, it's fantastic.
No,
it's been done by all hot men, so you're very happy to have it all.
I know I am happy, because I'm one of these people who rarely watch TV. Like, the only reason why I started watching TV was The Walking Dead. Right, I normally just sit and watch Jeremy Kyle, and if you're a foreign country,
the Jeremy Kyle is
Kyle,
quality programs. It really is. It reminds you
Jeremy
why.
Springer. Yeah,
reminds
but you're good of yourself. You know, it's like, it's like, I'm not on there. I'm doing good in life. But no,
Yeah, there's a
But,
meme
like-
that goes around Facebook about that my life will never be crap enough to appear on this show.
no, but going back to topic, yeah, because I've been watching Arrow and Flash like religiously.
Yeah, and spoiling it
And
for me sometimes.
And Agents of
As an
Shield.
accidental spoil, I don't watch Agents of Shield. I can't get into it. I'm really struggling. I'm
We
like
had a guy in
6
the street
episodes
today saying
in.
the same thing.
I'm really
Yeah.
struggling to get into Agents of Shield.
Yeah, Debo.
I haven't started watching that yet. But anyhow, let me finish. No, because of Arrow's coming up to end of season, and so is Flash, sadly. But I've really enjoyed those shows, and you know, if I knew they came out, if I knew Arrow came out in 2000 and whatever, I would see 2012.
Yep.
Would have watched it earlier. But I think it's good. It's good TV because it for someone who likes that sort of stuff and doesn't watch a lot of TV. And I
Steph,
would like to see more.
You're never going to guess what, Steph.
What?
I disagree wholeheartedly.
Scott, I think if we ever
Debate.
agree on a podcast, it would explode.
You're probably right.
And also, I forgot about the movies. And also, like, I never go to cinema either, apart from when James Bond is out and Star Wars. So it's actually nice to go outside my house to the outdoor world to watch a film. Because I like staying
Outdoors
in
to
my
go back
cave.
indoors.
I like to stay in my cave as much as I can, apart from work.
So, Scott, you were clearly disagreeing with what Steph was saying. Why?
I love the genre as much as the next person, and if it results in good production programs such as Arrow, then I'm all for it. But when you see things like Gotham, Agents of Shield,
I love
Gotham was crap.
Gotham is awesome. I don't know
Constantine.
what people have
No,
wrong
I
with
agree.
it.
Gotham is
No,
rubbish.
I love Gotham. Gotham is really cool. It introduces all the villains in an interesting and unique way.
But too early
So-
in the timeline. It has
Carry
to
on,
be.
Yeah,
Scott.
But I mean, additionally, when you have so much being translated into TV, it kind of comes from a position of almost arrogance where they think they can take anything. And because people are lapping up everything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, particularly, that
Yep.
they can turn anything into something. Hence why we have something like Ant-Man being brought to film. I'm sorry, but there are so many better superheroes that deserve a position on the big screen before we get to things like Ant-Man.
Can
Who would
I
you have
just
said
ask you a
for-
question,
Ant-Man
Scott?
originally set up the Avengers.
Can I just ask you a question, Scott? Do you reckon it's all
Yes.
kicked off because of the Avengers films? Because I think, apart from like Batman, I think Avengers is when everything started really kicking off with superheroes on TV and stuff.
What was Arrow?
I would agree with
Not
Not
that.
Arrow, Iron Man.
In terms of TV, yeah, but I mean, if you think back to like say the early noughties, there's always been a kind of heavy presence. It's gradually picked up over the years, but think of all the films that came out that led up to the Avengers. The cinematic universe has been building since 2006, I think, was the first one, which
2008.
was Iron Man, the first Iron Man film.
2008.
Right, okay, 2008. But certainly in terms of TV series, yeah, that's really started to ramp up. I don't know if something like, I think Heroes as well, although it's not typical of the genre, it reignited a lot of interest in the kind of comic format, and that perhaps rode on the success a little bit of some of the films that were out at the time. Trash, things like Gotham, it's watchable TV, but if you're going to do something and really attack a particular genre so hard, you have to produce something that's worthwhile, and that's not always the case.
The thing is, Gotham's watchable. The thing was, you've got things that DC are essentially doing. You've got Arrow, you've got Flash, which has taken such a fantastic. Personally, I think it's a fantastic piece of work that they've done with these series.
I agree.
And then introduce
As do I.
Gotham. So you've got the fact of Arrow and the Flash have been really, really good and well laid in, and they've built it up from those origin points. You then try and take another hero's universe, Batman, and take it all the way too far back to the beginning. You're introducing so many characters and, so many villains into the plotline of where they've came from, how they're building up, and you've got this weedy little kid that's getting trained by Alfred.
But
Just a quick
it's a new
question
take
to-
on it.
A quick question to those of you that watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
So I listened to, or actually I read an interview with Joss Whedon just a couple of days ago after I'd seen Ultron.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And he was saying that because there are so many of these things on TV at the minute, that it creates quite a conflict for fans that particularly follow the universe, because the narratives, the timelines, they're all out of complete sync. So is it really worthwhile if it's going to result in that amount of confusion, or are all these different sort of interpretations and adaptations good?
I think with Arrow and Flash, it shows quite well, like, timelines syncing together, but then, like, with the introduction of Gotham being in a different timeline, it's like, to me that's kind of odd, and I've tried getting into Gotham and I can't, because it's like, I just struggle with it, and, like, yeah, okay, I would watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's watchable, but it's not like I couldn't watch it religiously like I do with Arrow, and yeah, okay, it syncs with the movies, but I don't really care about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that much.
See, that was the thing, like, with Arrow and the Flash, it kind of followed on from each other. You've been introduced to these characters through Arrow. There is another one that's coming to the DC universe, and it is Supergirl. That they've done.
What's her name?
But
I love Supergirl. That was my favourite superhero movie when I was wee. Supergirl.
What's
It was
her
just
The one who's
Yeah, I never
the one
liked
who's
it.
Why? What was wrong with it?
I don't know.
What was wrong with
I
it?
don't
It
know.
had
was
Hero
cheesy.
2 in it.
I
It
just
was
I just
amazing.
remember really not liking it.
You might change your tune when you find out that the one who's playing Supergirl has only ever had one big acting gig under her belt in teen drama called Glee.
Well, hang on a minute.
Dan, do you like The Flash?
Yes, I do like The Flash.
Do you know who Grant Gustin is, or what he came from?
Grant Gustin, he came from Glee.
Yes,
Yeah.
so your point is invalid.
It's a
Yeah.
moot point.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't care about an actor's previous roles if they can pull it off in the show. Because it's a
Exactly.
fantastic show. But the thing
I
is,
don't see her pulling it off.
Well, Stephen
I'm
Bell.
just excited to see her try.
What about Stephen Bell? Like, his name really never came out until Arrow. Was it Jim? Something doing the gym?
Yeah.
Part-time actor. And now look at him. He's been fantastic. And unknown, playing a role like Arrow, and he's absolutely fantastic.
and he's pulled it off well.
He also
Yeah,
comes
really,
out with
really
fantastic words, like
Seriously.
Oh, I know. But no,
It's
it's like,
It blows my mind.
yeah, these things, you got these small-time actors doing really, really good jobs. And yeah, you know, this Supergirl could come from Glee in one, you know, acting thing, but it's going to be completely different because you got an audition for the role, really, as
And if
Batgirl.
you
They go,
match
oh,
that-
here's the, you know, here you go. We like you in Glee. You can have this script. It's you base it off the audition.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It is probably long overdue and about time that we had a really strong female superhero being
I agree.
represented on screen.
Black Widow.
I mean, I was going to say, yeah, Black Widow is probably one of the only more recent people that I can think
Gamora.
of that's really been. I mean,
Carol
yeah, Gamora as well, I
Danvers.
suppose.
Yeah,
But none of these people
have
lead
their
on their own.
Yeah.
We're talking about one girl that's going to be the front
Carol
line of
Danvers.
this.
I mean, perhaps Hit Girl. You could maybe say Hit Girl, but I mean, in
But
terms
she
of having
was
their
off the-
own representation.
Yeah, she was off the back of Kick-Ass.
So really, it is about time that we had kind of a strong lead female character in superhero land on our own.
Because would you
Get
not
that in
say that
Captain Marvel.
the last girl that was on TV as a TV show would be
Buffy.
I know
Buffy.
Buffy, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic. That was the girls who were sort of growing up in the 90s and in the noughties, and we had a role model as such, something to look up to.
Did anyone
Joss
else
Whedon
have a
created
crush
that,
on
didn't they?
Spike
Yes.
Masters?
What was that? Sorry,
Did anyone else have a crush on Spike Masters?
Spike Masters.
James Masters plays Spike.
Oh, James Masters. Yeah, sorry, Spike. Yeah, sorry. Or
I always
Angel.
thought he looked a bit like Ken. You know, the hairdo, like
Oh.
on the
What, as in
plastic
from
Barbie doll.
Barbie?
Ken. Yeah, like just his hairdo. You know, like because it was very plastic looking. But yeah,
And,
he was a
and-
great actor.
And Angel.
David Boreanaz is a fantastic actor. In Bones just now, he's
Oh my god, he's awesome. Somehow.
Well,
No,
they,
she's CBS.
they,
I don't know. He's
well,
so
they
funny,
talked
though.
about it, and they have mentioned that they are going to try and keep within the same universe, and there may be possible writing points to have a crossover. This is still all hearsay, mind you. But,
Oh, more crossovers.
but
I love
the
crossovers.
thing is, if you can pull
No,
off,
they're forcing them.
well, no, I've not seen anything that's felt forced.
No.
To be fair, the ones that I've watched, or hang on, I'll scratch that. The one
It's a
that I
very
do see,
clever thing for the industry to do, because it gets people who are only interested in watching one of them sucked into watching another.
I wouldn't have watched Flash if it wasn't thanks to Arrow and the
Yeah.
crossover in there. And I absolutely love Flash now.
No, too many crossovers.
no, I would
What,
say
one
that
crossover?
I would say that the crossover that is kind of painting the industry, and it's from what Scott's mentioned, and it's Marvel's Agents of Shield, with the interview that Joss Whedon had. The script for Captain America: Winter Soldier was written during the same sort of time as they were looking at announcing Agents of Shield, but Winter Soldier was looking to destroy Shield, so you kind of had this kind of dead point that was going to happen. How the hell do you play that out? Now, they did really well with the end of sort of season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to try and recover on that fact, that you've seen the meltdown of S.H.I.E.L.D. Sorry, spoilers. But going into sort of season 3, I've not really been gripped fully by it, and I was a fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, but what with Marvel, I feel like it's making you watch like everything Marvel. Like in Avengers 1, it was trying to make you watch Captain America, so you understood his backstory.
Yeah.
And then like in the latest film, this is not really a spoiler. It mentioned what happened with Shield.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
It's trying to force you to do it, whereas Arrow are just kind of going, oh, hello.
Yeah, it's like a new bad guy, introduced, and it's like, yeah, you won't understand what a metahuman is, but you can kind of guess.
Yeah, and it was taken as that kind of, here's a snapshot of this character that may possibly appear. Something else has happened somewhere else. If you want to find out about it, go and watch it.
Yeah, because to me, Marvel is more forcing it. Like they actually mention stuff what's happened.
Yeah, like in Daredevil, there's at the sort of very beginning they mention the sort of devastation,
the Battle of
New York to New York, and it was that kind of aspect, and you're then going, okay.
They develop on that later in the series.
I'm at episode 9, I think.
Spoiler.
But yeah, there's a few things within that it's. I think it is correct what everyone's saying here. It's forcing the issue with Marvel.
What do you think about the issue, Nikki?
Much about DC, because I'm not a big DC fan. And I'm not really into like, the Flash and things like that.
Whereas DC are doing the better TV shows. Is that agreed by everyone?
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
But I want to get into Arrow.
Wait,
every time
stop. We agreed. Sorry.
I don't agree.
Majority. There's not even a majority here now. Grady, what?
I kind of want to get into Arrow, to be honest with you, but I don't know. Crossovers confuse me.
Oh,
it's in season 3 of Arrow.
They also keep
simple.
It very, very simple. It's a case of, I've ended up here because I'm chasing a bad guy. Do you want to help me out? And that's about the crux of the crossover.
But then, do you not have to start watching Arrow and then start watching Flash?
No, Arrow. The crossovers in season 3 of Arrow.
So you could watch it to season 3 and then watch Flash.
Yeah, you don't have to. I mean, I watched the crossover without watching Flash.
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
And then I ran out of Arrow, so I started watching Flash.
Okay.
Oh, that's how you did it. Because I remember you saying that you'd gone to start watching Flash. That was just because you ran out of Arrow.
Yeah. Well, cause I watched the crossover in Flash episode 8, and then I went to Arrow, and then I watched the whole of Flash.
Oh, so you started with Flash, and then you went to Arrow, then you went back.
No, Arrow, Flash, Arrow.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
One
to be fair,
crossover.
And when you see Arrow with his top off, it's so worth watching.
Okay, I'm watching it.
Okay.
The one crossover I am interested in checking out right now is Netflix Defenders when that comes out.
So that'll be after they've launched Iron Fist, Luke Cage,
Iron
and
Fist,
Jessica
yeah.
Jones. So you were saying about
that.
there's too many crossovers, but like, what are you suggesting is too many crossovers?
I think this one might. I don't like how they do so many spin-off series with the crossovers, and then you have to go and watch those because it's time consuming and you don't have enough time to watch it.
With
one?
This,
but
like
what ones?
Arrow and Flash, I don't have enough time to watch all of it.
It's only one episode they cross over so far, and then there'll be another
but then they
crossover.
do a spin-off.
Yeah, but the spin-off is mostly based on the Arrow stuff. So if you watch Arrow, the spin-off is based on characters from Arrow, like was it Black Canary, the Atom?
Well, it's not all been fully confirmed of who's going to be in there because apparently there's Flash and Arrow characters going into it. But overall, it's going to be its own TV show. So do you necessarily need to watch
I don't think you do.
them if you want to get a further backstory? But sometimes they'll start off like if we go back to The Walking Dead, you start off with a police officer that's walking through a derelict hospital. You've not got
That's
much
how the
back
comic started,
information.
though.
Yeah, but again, you've not got much information to go on the backstory. You don't
Then
need
they're
to...
releasing their new TV show linked to that with the
Oh,
backstory
yeah.
of how the infection started, and I'm so looking forward to that.
Are
I mean,
you?
yeah,
When?
I mean, I know that's the spin-off. I don't know when
It's a
the
spin-off?
prequel, isn't
What's
it?
called?
yeah, it's like a prequel. What's it called, Paul? Do you remember?
The Fear of the Walking Dead, I think.
Fear the
Oh,
Walking Dead.
Oh.
I need to watch that
It starts this summer and.
Oh, that'd be so good.
because I'll have no Arrow, no Flash, no Life.
Is this going to be what keeps us alive while we're waiting for the new series of The Walking Dead to come out?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
I'll
gonna
be
have to go back
watching
and watch them all.
yeah.
Jessica Jones by then.
Okay, so thanks for having me on the podcast again. It's good night from Eleanor.
Thank you very much for having me on the podcast. It's bye from Nikki.
You have failed this city.
Cheerio.
And done.
All right, guys. See you next week.
Right, Grady. It's good having you on. Would you like to say goodbye?
Cheerio.
Thanks very much, guys, for listening. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Any comments would be fantastic, and we will keep you up to date on any new news that's coming out in relation to our favourites. Clearly, Arrow, Flash, Walking Dead, and any new game releases that will be coming out. Good night.